Well, here we are, thoughts from the office. Rednecks Pride Outdoors and ACP Wildlife Control Services. This is one of those videos that's going to be for the wildlife control folks. But fur trappers can get something out of it if they think about it. I had a couple folks that have mildly disagreed with me on my 80-20 concept and on my raccoon circuit. They've said they've never seen it, either one. And the amount of years that they've been in business doesn't matter. But I will get a few folks that have been in business for a very short time that build a strong opinion, if you will, based on the 2, 3 years, 4 years that they've been in business doing ADC wildlife control. That's good. You have to build your confidence. You have to build your opinion. You have to build your what you believe and what have you, or you're no good. All right, that's that simple. But when the person says to me, I just don't see it, I ask, well, have you ever tried to see it? For example, the raccoon circuit. Have you ever tried to see it? Or do you just want to believe what you want to believe, how you believe it and why you believe it, based on nothing more than grabbing something out of the air? In fur trapping, we can have a lot of unanswered questions because we're not dealing with an absolute known. But in wildlife control, even though it's not an absolute known, it's pretty doggone close. For example, when your customer calls you up and on the phone you're talking to them and they say they hear the noise at 2 o'clock in the morning for a half hour, 45 minutes, it sounds like a heavy dragging type noise. Or they hear the noise at 4 o'clock in the morning and it's a heavy dragging type noise and something goes over to a spot and it nestles in and they don't hear it anymore. Well, that's a known, people. That's a known. Your customer has given you a known, especially if they've been hearing it 3, 4, 5 times, different times. That is a known. The next question when you're talking to the customer is, how often does it happen? And depending on the time of the year, the answer should be once every X amount of time. If it happens from the end of March till about June, if it's a boar, it's going to happen every X amount of time. If it's a female in March and she's getting ready to drop her pups, it's going to be more frequent to where she drops right before she drops her pups, and then it's going to be every day. That's a known. You can argue with me all you want. That's a known. Talk to your customers. They'll give you the known, the absolute fact. Now, they may not be right on, and you never take them for their absolute word, because they customers can't count between 5 and 10 days. But they can tell you once a week, once every 2 weeks. So now when you come into your job situation, you're already thinking something. You find that it is, in fact, raccoon. What do you do at this point? And the guys will say, well, yeah, what do you do? How do you know that they can't, their circuit? And I say, do you ever monitor your holes? You ever talk to your customers on a daily basis? Or every couple days? Duct tape's your best friend. They rip right through it. They not only rip right through it, the hair stuck to it tells you what it is. And the direction that the tape is pulled tells you where they was when they started to either go in or out of the hole. For example, if they're in a hole, most of the time, you're going to see one of two things. You're going to see either a dainty little push out with a lot of hair around your tape, if it's a raccoon that is cautious, spooky, saying, what's going on here? Or if it's a raccoon that's more dominant and bearing, they're going to grab that tape and they're going to yank, they're going to pull it in, because most animals pull. So they grab the tape and they pull it into the hole. If they're outside and they're a cautious, spooky raccoon, then the tape is going to be daintily, nice, neatly in the corner, pushed in to the hole. Or the tape is going to be pulled off and laying on the roof or on the ground. So the tape tells you what's going on, to be somewhat precise. And when you talk to your customer, did you hear the raccoon last night? No. Did you hear the raccoon last night? Yes. Did you hear it? No. 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 Did you hear it? Yes. 6 days. What do I have? If the evidence on the house shows that it's a single raccoon that's mainly used in the house, then you've got a female. If it's in February, March, you got a female. If the evidence on the house is really marked up hard and solid, then you got multiples. Wildlife control is not throw a feather in the air and see where it drifts. Wildlife control is paying attention to what you're doing, paying attention to what's happening when you do whatever it is you do, talking to your customer, because your customer is your eyes and ears. Putting all this together, being successful in your job, and after 10, 15, 20 jobs, you start to see a pattern. If you're conscious enough to see it, if you're alert enough to see it, you start to see the pattern. And when you start to see the pattern, then you can start evaluating jobs before you really start them, to see what direction you want to go, what you got to deal with, and how you got to deal with it. Now listen, 55 years as a fur trapper, over 55 years now. It's 55. Wildlife control in 1979. I don't know it all. I don't know it all. Every day. I got a squirrel right now. This squirrel is my problem. Anything I do, she avoids, and she chooses another hole. I put tape across the hole, she chooses another stinking hole. I put a trap there, she chooses another stinking hole. What is she? She's trap shy. I know. Animals don't get trap shy. She's trap shy, people. And in my state, I can't use a killer trap legally. or I would have did it. Except for everything I do, she avoids me. So, 1979, what's that, 45 plus years of wildlife control? I don't know at all. But God has given me the ability to look at things, and of that many years, put them into categories and see when something keeps happening over and over again in the same scenario, then even though it's anecdotal, it's pretty solid anecdotal. So, listen, this is for you folks, and that's just in your wildlife control, and you're just going at it, and you're just doing the same thing over and over again. That's fine. I understand that. I am too. I do the same thing. Set a trap by the hole, catch the squirrel. You want to force it, fine. So it doesn't matter. But look at your patterns, learn from your patterns, understand your patterns and what they mean, because 10 years, 15 years, it'll make you a better wildlife control specialist. Not a know-it-all, not somebody who knows it all, just somebody who can see the signs and does what the animal tells them to do. I'm going to leave it here. Thoughts from the office, Redneck Pride Outdoors, and ACP Wildlife Control Services. I'll catch you next time.